Malik, we're gonna catch up where we left off.
That's good.
Talk about the three heavyweights at this moment that I guess are the ones that are quote unquote in your radar. We talked about AJ. You're going into, why AJ is one of the biggest heavyweights at the moment. Can you elaborate a little bit more on that?
As far as names for Deontay, far as if you're talking about a big time boxing, high level names, high level fights, you got AJ, you have Usyk. I'm not really interested in Deontay fighting. I think somebody bought, what's the kid named, the Cuban kid, Sanchez. I'm not interested in those kind of fights with Deontay. This right here is such a serious fight, the Helenius fight, especially for our first fight back. Helenius is very underrated. He's very technically sound. He's very deceiving. He can hurt you close. He can hurt you long. And this is a very serious fight. I'm more indulged studying-wise and film-wise and training hard-wise concerning preparation, because Helenius to me is just as dangerous as any of those other guys that you named. Just as dangerous. Yeah,
he was obviously a sparring partner for Deontay for these two fights, if I'm not mistaken. So y'all know each other very well. I'm saying y'all because it's in the corner.
And keep this in mind, Helenius is not a good sparer. He doesn't spar very good. You know what I mean? So some fighters is not like that. They're not good sparers, but you get them under the lights and you make them an underdog and they come alive. That's who Helenius is. So stylistically and anything else, he's not fooling me because I know exactly who he is. He's a very dangerous fighter. He's even more dangerous on the night of the fight, and he's coming here to defeat us. And it's my job as a teacher, it's Deontay's job as a fighter, and our job as a team to make sure that don't happen.
Going back to what you were talking about, the three heavyweights at the moment, which was AJ, Fury, if I'm not mistaken. You were saying
AJ, as far as the big name, AJ, Fury, Usyk.
Usyk. Hypothetically speaking, like I said, provided he wins October 15th, what's the biggest thing besides AJ? Is it AJ you're sticking to that the fight you really want after seeing of this performance against Usyk, or even being in Usyk's training camp? What's the fight that really catches your attention the most overall?
Deontay Wilder and AJ is a fight I'm very much interested in, and the conditions and everything have to be right. The conditions and everything have to be right, because we're dealing with someone that doesn't have to do this for a financial stance. So if Deontay is going to do it, just have to be right. The conditions, the finances, everything like that, because he's people driven, not money driven.
Like we went back, when we were talking at the beginning. Now let's talk about you, Malik, the trainer, the boxer.
Yep.
You're in training camp with Usyk. We just saw what happened recently. Usyk beating again
7 weeks I was with him.
7 weeks.
This time. But before, I've been in almost 6-7 training camps with Usyk before. In Ukraine, US, we spent a lot of time together, man. He's a great man. He's a very intelligent, great fighter. He finds a way to win. He's just as dangerous as any other fighter in the world concerning heavyweights, if not more dangerous. And besides AJ, that's the only, to me, qualified fight that I'm looking at for Deontay.
Were you surprised by any chance that the second rematch Usyk did again beat AJ? I guess there's no controversy. He beat him.
Yeah, but AJ put up, and it seemed like, I don't know, and this may be a little awkward for me to say, it seemed like no one is giving Robert Garcia any kind of credit for AJ doing better than he did the first fight. I don't get it.
The trainer and the fighter, Malik Scott, you see both sides of the coin, right?
I see both sides, but I don't get it. It's almost like it makes me think that if AJ would have won, I'm sure they would have gave Robert all the credit in the world. But the fact that AJ did better, but they didn't get the decision, or they didn't win, or whatever it is that it's called, people is totally writing off and didn't talk about the job that Robert Garcia and them did. I'm not sure if they made, I don't know, it just seemed like the whole Robert Garcia thing is just a ghost town now after the fight. And in my opinion, AJ did a lot better the second fight than he did the first one. It was a lot more action-packed.
What did he do better? As obviously somebody that studies.
He took more chances. He tried to be more physical. Now, could he have done these things more? Of course, but he gave it a go. He gave it a go so much that some people thought he won from different angles of the fight and stuff like that. Me watching on TV, I didn't think he won, but from what I heard, some people actually thought he won the fight. And that's because he gave more of a gallant effort. AJ, I hear people saying he should retire. I can't stand that shit, man. You lose to great fighters, especially someone as great as Usyk, and people are already ready to write you off. It's bullshit. AJ is a superstar. He's a good fighter. He did a lot for the sport of boxing, especially coming from Britain in the heavyweight division as far as Britain is concerned. I mean, the heavyweight division as far as Britain is concerned. He put electricity in boxing over there. He put a lot of market there. He put a lot of branding there. And he held the sport up very well in a good way, you know, for everybody over there. So I think AJ, the retirement talk and people just coming there, they need to chill the fuck out. He gave a good effort.
Yeah, what do you think, you know, talking about AJ, what do you think he should go from here? You know, obviously coming off of 2 losses, you know, just, you know, your fighters, well, Deontay, and me personally, as you know, covering the sport, I don't believe losses define who you are. It's cliche as it sounds, it's, you know, how you come back, how you regain, you know, your mental aspect, you know, how you regain your confidence. But what should AJ do at this moment, you know, regain all of that? Because, you know, there's still that talks. I mean, you even saw it at the end of the fight. What he did, he had, quote unquote, a tantrum.
Yeah.
What should he do now? You know, obviously not retired, but what should he do? Keep Robert Garcia in the corner, or?
I don't know. I think as far as his training system, I think he should have people in the corner that, according to the fight that he's fighting. I think for his mindset and for stylistically what he wanted to do with Usyk, Robert was the perfect guy. Now if he is fighting another type of style, Robert may not be the guy for that type of style. You just never know how people are thinking, especially these fighters or these coaches. So what I think he should do, if you asking me, I think he should wait around and see what we're going to do, wait for us to finish fighting Elenius, and then possibly, you know, Wilder and Joshua.
Lastly, Malik, I know you have a couple people waiting on you.
Yes, okay.
Lastly, that potential fight, 2. Real quick prediction, Canelo, Triple G, the 3rd one, and as well, what do you think of the potential fight of Crawford versus Spence Crawford?
I'm 50-50 down the middle with Crawford and Spence. If I was going to go with an edge, I probably would go with Spence because I'm very big on his trainer system. I love what Derek does over there. Crawford is no slouch, the farthest thing from one. Very, very serious fighter, very serious. So it's 50-50. As far as Canelo and Gigi, I don't really have no input on it. I'm sure, you know, I'll watch it for the sake of good film study, but I'm not watching it because I don't know. It's like Canelo, for the sake of Canelo, I get it. But to me, Gigi has declined a little bit when I looked at his last fight. So Canelo is coming off a fight with Bivol that I think he wants vengeance. And I think GGG is the first, possibly, statistic he's going to make an example out of. But, you know, he's fighting a legend. So whatever happens, happens. Those guys are both highly successful. Either way, both of them win. But as far as who's going to win the fight, I would give it to Canelo.
Malik, I appreciate you taking your time and speaking with Fight Hub TV. Thank you so much. As always, trainers like yourself, other trainers that particularly like to talk to, is just like,
absolutely, man.
Hearing you is just like, you know,
yes.
It just builds up my knowledge, you know, speaking, anything. But thank you so much, Malik, and looking forward for your fight on October 15th.
Absolutely.
And we'll catch up.
I like how you said that, looking forward to my fight, because anytime Deontay Wilder is fighting, I feel like I'm in preparation as well.
Exactly, Malik. Thank you so much, brother. Right, thank you so much. Thank you.